I know. It's like weird. I was
I
like,
know what
that's
you're saying.
weird. Okay. And you can hear me okay. Cool.
Mhm.
All right.
Good evening. And if you're just tuning in, you are listening live to the Angel Rock. I'm your host, Lorilei Potvin. We're coming to you out of New Orleans, Louisiana on 105.3 and 107.7, as well as all around the world. If you've never been to my show, welcome. And I send you a warm welcome to all new guests. What I cover is all aspects of spirituality, esotericism, a little bit of truth seeking, things like that. And the guests that I have on my show are making a positive change for humanity, whether it's extracurricular or it is professionally. We got all kinds of people here already. We got Michael, we got Robin from the UK. Let us know where you're coming from, by the way. I'm still giving you a few little details before we start. So as many of you know, if you've been here before, UPRN, also known as UFO Paranormal Radio or United Public Radio Network, we are on Roku as well. So this show isn't yet my second show. I always forget to mention my second show on each show I do is on Thursday nights, co-hosted with my very good friend David Hansel, and it's called The Thing at the Foot of the Bed from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I guess I should tell you a little bit about me, right? I am a Canadian clairvoyant medium, crystal Reiki energy healer, Akashic Records practitioner, a spiritual teacher and mentor and nurse. And we have an amazing guest for you tonight. I do want to give a quick shout out because we've got Robin from the UK, we've got Neil Carr, we've got Sandra Sharp, we've got Michael Kennedy, Mountains of North Carolina, he says. So welcome, everybody. I'm going to get to our amazing guest because she falls right in that category of making a positive change for humanity. I'm going to read her bio. She's got a new book out too, so we're going to talk about all these things and more. So we all want to believe that if we visualize something long enough, it will eventually happen. But according to author and international emotional detox coach, Sherianna Boyle, this approach to manifesting is destined to fall flat. That's not kidding. If you're not taking your emotions into account. When it comes to manifesting our reality, how we feel is more important than what we want. If our emotions aren't moving, manifesting just won't happen, at least not the way we want. So her new book is called Energy in Action, The Power of Emotions and Intuition to Cultivate Peace and Freedom. And it explores how emotional mastery is the missing piece to manifesting we've all been looking for. By applying her emotional detoxing and cleanse method, which is a registered trademark, Sherianna shows you how to create from an inner space of discernment, insight, intuition, and level-headedness. Now, a little bit about Sherry. Sherianna Boyle, Master's in Education, and then she's got CAGS. She'll have to refresh my memory what that means, is an international emotional detox coach and the author of 9 books, including The Emotional Detox Now and her new book I just mentioned. She has been featured in over 90 articles and is a presenter for renowned organizations such as PESI, Behavioral and Mental Health Education, Kripalu Center for Yoga and Health, 1440 Multiversity, and more. She is an adjunct psychology professor and founder of Emotional Detox Coaching. Welcome. Wow, what a bio you've got. I'm so glad to have you here. How are you this evening?
Oh, I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. It's actually, you're reading that and I'm realizing I have to update that because energy.
I thought it was 10 probably.
It's $10. Yeah.
Okay,
I don't want
I
to.
put a multitude of books and I thought, oh crap, I didn't answer.
Well, it's not that. I always feel like my books are children and I don't want them to feel left out. So yeah, Energy in Action is number 10.
That's so funny that you know what? I just said that to somebody this morning because I'm working on 3 books myself. And I literally said, our books are like our own children. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, it does. It feels like don't leave it out, right? They're all important. They're all valuable and they all need to be seen and heard in some way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Neil Carr says he is from Portland, Oregon. We have Zachman here. Says good afternoon, everybody. I know he's in Arizona. Lorilei, guess what my Julie's maiden name was? I'm going to say Boyle. How about that? He's over in the UK. Robin, he's so sweet. He lost his beloved wife, Julie, at the end of January. So I'm guessing, you'll have to tell me if I'm right, Robin, but I think that's what it is. So that's why you said it, I think, because your last name's Boyle.
Aw.
So I always start at the beginning. So
Mm,
what got you into all this? Because you are very intuitive. How I found out
mm,
about you was Carmen Turner Schott, who is a guest
mhm.
favorite, and I know you're going to be one too. She's coming on for her third visit to my show at the end of the month. And I just happened to be on Instagram. I'm never hardly ever on there. And I saw Carmen Turner Schott is live. And I went, oh, I'm going to watch. And I won your book and you
Oh,
were
that's
with
right.
her.
Yeah.
So yeah, how did you get into all this, and what sort of started, or have you been around it your whole life with the intuition and channeling and
Yeah, no, I haven't been. I mean, gosh, I mean, I've always been into spirituality ever since I was a kid. And at least that's what my parents tell me, that I was
okay.
a little bit different, and that I was the kind of kid that would kind of explore things that maybe other kids weren't doing. And my parents were pretty open, which was nice. We were, raised Catholic, but they were really okay with. I kind of wandered into another church at one point on my own, and I think I was about 12, and I started attending, and they were like, "Okay, that's fine."
Oh,
they
what
really,
great parents.
they just were very open. And years later, they were like, "Just so you know," but it was the music.
Wow.
It was the choir. And so I would go in and listen to the music, and I would leave because I was 12. So I had shorter, just go in, listen, leave, and they would let me in. So I
Aw.
think I was always drawn to it, feeling it, in tune with it, found it
Mhm,
very healing. So I think I've always been a very spiritual person, intuitive.
mhm.
And and then fast forward, I end up in the world as CAGS. You said, what does that mean? The initials there.
Yes,
That's
thank
a
you.
certificate of advanced graduate study in the field of school psychology. So for many years I worked with children and families. I've worked with domestic abuse. I've worked all over the place. I've worked in prisons. I've worked in parent education heavily. I've worked with moms recovering from substance abuse. It's
Wow.
been all different areas.
Okay.
That was for, a good chunk of everything. And then when I left the system to have my own children, I realized that, like a lot of people, when you stop, you realize, oh my gosh, you start to pick up on all the things that you were ignoring, right? And one was
Mhm.
I got depressed because that was sort of my identity, working, 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 helping everybody else.
Right.
And I was having children. So I started to explore yoga, and one thing led to another, got trained. And then, I mean, so many things I could go on. I'm old enough where it would take a long time to cover everything.
I'm gonna be 58 in August, so I hear you when you read my bio
They
too.
really want me to tell you every little step of the way. They would be like yawning and like, shut this girl up. But anyway, I ended up writing my first book when I was on leave of absence. And because I basically was saying to myself, I can't go back in and do what I did. There's no way. I have a child now. I can't be working 12, 14-hour days, worrying about everybody. I mean, I was during Thanksgiving, I was buying turkeys and I was like that person.
Wow.
And so I wrote a book, and it was basically all about let's remember the true tools, right? And that is, the tools are within. You can have a million strategies, curriculums, whatever
Right.
you do with the kids. But let's not forget that the power behind those tools is our self-awareness.
Absolutely.
And so that sort of kicked it off. And then from then on, believe it or not, Lorilei, I, I was asked to write my next book. So I was approached by publishers, very different than most people.
It is, but that
Yeah,
means your first one was really good.
well, they just said, look, we know you're good at this. We saw you wrote this. Can you do another one? And I was like, already on leave. And I was like, okay. And they were like, can you do it in 5 weeks? And
Oh, wow.
I said, sure, because I'm a former like work, and I did. And then they were like,
That's
that was
impressive.
awesome. Can you do another one? So I did another one. I did the Conscious Parenting Guide to Childhood Anxiety. So from then on, then eventually I said, can I write what I want to write? Like I love writing about that. And I'm glad I wrote about that. But I have some ideas. And they were like, sure. So that's how my writing career started, and then eventually developed emotional detox coaching. So hi, everybody. I don't mean to be ignoring people showing up and saying things.
Oh, I'm going to point this soul. Oh, I did highlight it, my darn mouse. Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure who this is. Hello. As you can see, this is how you come up on Facebook. That's why I have that annoying ticker tape across the bottom. Welcome. So if this is your first time you coming to a StreamYard on UPRN, and I forgot to mention this too, if you guys want to join in the conversation, like the people that are in the chat, please head over to UFO Paranormal Radio, either the Facebook page. You just have to head over there and watch the stream, or the YouTube channel. It's also streaming on my YouTube. But anyways, you have to go to streamyard.com/Facebook. It takes a second. You pop in there, you give them permission to use your picture and your name, and then we know who you are. So, and same for your group too, right? Because you're streaming. What pages are you streaming
I think
to?
I am. Hi, everybody. If I am streaming, I think I did everything correctly. So it's author Sherianna Boyle.
Okay.
If they want to say hi and hop
Yeah.
in there, that would be fantastic. But again, that was my first time. So I wouldn't be surprised if I completely messed that up.
Well, the thing is, right, that's a new thing to StreamYard when guests come on, where basically I produce my own show and a few others on the network. So I stream to 8 of our platforms, but now a guest can add to theirs. Everyone give Lorilei a thumbs up. Wow, you're so sweet. Yeah, please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, because there's something for everybody on this network. We have all kinds of new hosts from all over the world. Plus, when we're not live, practically 7 days a week, the archive server is going. And this network's been around, I would say, probably 24, 25 years. So there are some incredible replays and shows. So there's something for everybody over here. I always try and do this as I'm talking, Sherianna. I like to pin the live stream to the top of my Facebook so people can find it, because otherwise they go, where are you? I can't find you.
Yeah, no, please do. Please do. And if anybody has any questions, be happy to answer them in terms of how I look at manifesting. Energy in action is actually how I define.
That was me. Sorry. It was supposed to be turned down and it turned up. I was going to
No
say hi from
problem.
my YouTube channel.
Yeah, I'm going to check mine out too here.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead. Hi, Adriana. Welcome. While you're checking that, though, what I was going to ask you now, you've trademarked some, and I actually hashtagged from the emotional detox, and there's quite a few hashtags with that as well. So was that the third book that you wrote, or was that the one before this newest book we're going to be talking about?
So energy in action's the latest one. What do you
the emotional
detox? I have a series. So I have emotional detox. That was the first, I call it the mama of the emotional detox series.
No wonder you looked at me confused, because the way I read it, I actually didn't realize it was a series. So thank you for clarifying that.
It's a trio. So it starts with the mama, which is the core white book called Emotional Detox. Then I wrote Emotional Detox for Anxiety after that. And then I wrote Emotional Detox Now, which is complete just practice. So I always say, if you're going to read Emotional Detox, read the white one first, because it gives the whole kit and caboodle of what it's all about. Energy in Action, which is the one behind me, that is about the spiritual laws of the universe. And I do incorporate the same system that I used in Emotional Detox, because I developed that system and it works so well. I'm not going to recreate it. It's just what I've done is upgraded it so that you're learning how to process your emotions, feel your feelings, which I believe is really the most important part of manifesting. So that book, Energy in Action, teaches how to do that in accordance with the spiritual laws. And I can talk more about that when you're ready.
Absolutely. We've got another Facebook user with an incredible comment or question, but I don't know who they are. I want to say hi to Keith Ottersberg. He said, hey, driving home but listening. And we got Adriana here. She's a new host on our network. She's amazing, you guys. You've got to check out her show. Can you type it in the chat for me, please, Adriana? I don't want to mess it up because she gives out business. Like all kinds of, I was producing today with her show, but I told her I'm going to be watching every week. I'm getting goosebumps as I'm talking about it. It's not cold, but the advice that she has and the tricks and tips. Yeah, thank you. Negotiating Happiness,
Yeah.
Mondays from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you were looking for business advice, and not just, what I love is it's not just spiritually based, like she makes it generic enough that you could take her advice and use it for anything from podcasting to I'm working on a crafting business to spiritual to any type of business. I love what she's doing. She said, thanks so much. It's about entrepreneurship and finding happiness. But we've got Keith, like I said, driving home. But let's get to this question in just a sec. So Facebook user, I'm going to tell you very quickly with the how do you manifest. I'm going to put that up in just a sec. But if you wouldn't mind, please head over to streamyard.com /Facebook so that we can, you just have to give them permission to use your picture and your name and we will know who you are. Okay, thank you. So the one thing that I thought that was missing, because you would know, you would remember this, The Secret, right? When it came out and
Oh God,
everybody
who
was
doesn't?
wild about
Who
it. And we
doesn't?
all thought it was like this magical formula. And then
And
people went,
at the time it was,
yeah, but
honestly.
what people found it didn't work. And I was one of those people.
It didn't work for me, that's for sure.
Okay, so you're in the same boat. So
Yes.
yes, it gave people a lot of hope. It made us aware of the law of attraction and manifestation, but they didn't give us all the keys, which it sounds like you have with your newest book. Never mind the series, given us a lot of tools and tips how to work with this, right?
Yeah, well, I felt the same way. So if you were someone who, did your vision board and did all the things that you're supposed to do, and you're like, okay, and didn't work,
Mhm.
but you didn't want to lose hope because we all want to believe that, in our own innate powers, which we have. But see, I was coming from a different angle. I wrote 3 books on emotional detox. All I do is focus on emotions in my private work. And so for me it was, okay, I really want to relook at this manifesting thing through the lens of emotions and revisit the all these laws. And the thing is one, we tend to over focus on the law of attraction when in fact there are many spiritual laws and they all work together.
That's right.
And that's important for us to know, and you obviously know, but I like to think of it a couple ways. I like to think of the spiritual laws as one, like the brain.
Okay.
So we have the neurons in the brain, right?
Right.
Specialized cells. And I teach psychology. I'm an adjunct psychology professor. And
I was
so
so impressed with your bio.
well,
Sorry.
that's why I tend to think about the brain, because we talk a lot about the brain and psychology, but the neurons have their jobs, but when some neurons are working, other neurons are taking a rest. It's
That's
called the refresh. It's just part of the way the brain works. It's kind of like the spiritual laws. They balance each other out, just like the neurons. Everything goes into balance. So one law might be kicked in, another law might not be. We might not be focusing on that when it might not be as much at play. So there's always this balancing and counterbalancing effect. So that was the big thing. One of the big takeaways for me was, oh my gosh, we over focus. It's like over focusing on someone else. It's like you lose yourself. Eventually you have to say, why are you focusing so much on other people? Right. And so
right.
the laws, we kind of did that with the law of attraction. And then the other thing is, what I found with The Secret is it kind of came with the assumption that you knew how to feel your feelings,
Yes.
right?
Hmm.
And I don't know many people that were taught how to feel their emotions. Even with the mindfulness stuff, a lot of times, sometimes people still don't understand. They know how to be mindful, and they don't understand the connection. And it's not that they're not processing, but they still haven't fully grasped, well, what is it exactly does it mean to process emotion. And it's really not even what does it mean, is how does it feel? So what my motto is now is feel first,
Okay.
then focus on what you want to manifest, right? So always feel first. Now, a lot of people are triggered, right? They have a lot of
Mhm.
triggers. There's a lot of levels of reactivity. My daughter, so I have 3 daughters. One was just showing me a video and she's like, Mom, you got to look at this person. She's great. She's so smart. And the hard part for me was I said, she is great. She's so smart. Maybe I'll connect with her at some point, you know.
Yeah.
But I said at the same time, I'm trying to educate my daughter so that
Yeah.
because they're interested in all of this, remember there's a lot of focus on triggers there, right? I'm hearing a lot of focus on triggers. That's not emotions, right?
Or trauma. Like lately, that's
Or
all I'm
yeah,
seeing is trauma. And I've run into many people. We're going to get to this question. It's a good question. I'm not sure who it is, even if you just put your name in, if you don't want to go to StreamYard and give permission, just so we know who you are. And if you want to stay anonymous, that's okay too. But, and I know have had to run into people like this who've gone through something so difficult or very traumatic, because trauma is very individual to the person experiencing it. And I know you know this, but for our audience, right? Like one person may experience the same thing and they sail through it, they're okay.
yeah,
So, but it's when people live within that victimhood, right? And I always say it's so easy from the outside looking in than when it is when we have the mirror up to our own face, but they get stuck in it. And like I have had conversations with people, like literally, I had such a traumatic childhood. I had such a traumatic childhood. And they'll bring it up about 10 times. And when we're all intuitive, but when you can feel into it and they want you to ask. And usually what I just say, I'm very sorry about that, because I don't want to get into that vibration, if you will, or that energy. I don't know the person well enough. First of all, if it was a friend, that would be different. But you see where I'm going with it. And
yeah.
trauma, like I'm seeing this everywhere. Trauma, heal the trauma, heal the trauma. But trauma isn't an emotion, is it? It's a response.
It's a reaction, yeah. It's a triggered reaction, and here's the challenge where we can easily slide into that cheerleading. Yeah, I feel that too, and yeah,
That's why I don't go
and then
there.
it becomes like this. Yeah, we gotta right, and again, it's not wrong or bad, but
No.
it's not feeling.
Mhm.
It's not feeling, and so it's really difficult for me to buy into some things, to be honest with you, to get on that train of focusing on triggers, because it really doesn't get you anywhere.
It doesn't solve the problem.
Exactly. And here's the
Mhm.
thing, and Lorilei, you can tell me what you think, is like sometimes, even just that question, what do I want to manifest in my life? When
Mhm.
sometimes if I find myself going there and saying, what do I want to manifest? What do I want to manifest? There's a part of me that wonders, are we already in a teeny bit of reactivity?
Mhm.
Right? Because
Mhm.
there's got to be a part of you that feels like something's lacking in your life. And that's a
True.
trigger.
True.
Right? So
Yeah.
that's why I say feel first. And then, as you know, it will come. It'll come through you. Follow your intuition. You will
Okay,
be
so I got a question for
guided.
you.
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't
Go
mean to
ahead.
cut you off, but my mind's going a mile a minute right now.
Go. Yes.
Okay, so you said feel first and then it'll come to you. So let's take an example. Somebody's trying to manifest a new car. We are going to get to your question, I promise. Someone's trying to manifest a new car. They know they need a new car. Their car's on its last legs. I don't want to, we'll call them Joan or something. Joan doesn't want to come from a place of lack, right? But she knows she needs this. So when you're saying feel into it, are we feeling about how would that feel? Like it's already mine, but I
Yeah.
need to feel like what it feels like. I think that's where people get stuck, right? Or am I completely way off base? Hey, Howie, welcome.
There's a few ways you can go with this, and it really depends on whether you're feeling or not. So
Mhm.
if I'm in a state of feeling, I get it. A lot of people who teach manifesting say, imagine what it would feel like. Imagine the audience clapping for you and
Or I
everybody's
won $1 million.
cheering.
Like, what can you
Yeah,
do to that? To
exactly.
Mhm.
And they're clapping and you've won and you're like, feel the feeling and you know,
Yeah.
absorb and blah, 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 right? That is an option if you're in a state of feeling that I believe can work, right? But
Mhm.
if you're using it, we say, you know, back to emotional detox language, you know, it's not about getting rid of your emotions, it's about getting to your emotions. So we don't
Mhm.
actually clear emotions in emotional detox, we
Mhm.
clear triggers. Okay. We
Oh,
clear
okay.
reactions. Yeah. So just so everyone knows when I talk, now then people want to know, well, how do I do that? That's cleanse. Cleanse is the cleanse system I developed. It's just 7 mindful steps to
Mhm.
process your emotions. And then what I've done in energy and action is really help you understand yourself as a spiritual being, the laws of the universe. Well, we'll go back to the car person because I was that person
Oh, I
last.
got so many questions.
I was that person because I would bitch and complain about my car so much.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was so expensive.
Okay, Joan is me. I need a new car.
Okay. And I have a new car and it's the best car I've ever had in my whole life. It's a
Yeah.
Subaru. I love it. Okay.
Okay.
Anyway.
You know, I'm always honest, and I thought, why am I calling her Joan? I have no affiliation with the name Joan. I just could be honest. I need a new car.
Awesome. I was in that same boat last summer. But the thing is that did I say I want to manifest a new car? No, I did
Okay.
not. Did I say I need a new car? Yeah, I did say, you know, eventually this needs to happen. This is not working in my life, right?
Right.
So what I do, and again, I always practice what I preach. I do my cleanse every day. So the
Okay.
cleanse is this. So I don't wait for something to occur in my life and just say, oh, I got to feel. Oh, I've had a horrible experience. I know I need to heal and feel. It's a daily practice, but the good
Okay.
news is it doesn't involve talking, everyone.
Okay.
So I, you can feeling your feelings does not always, and I'm not saying talk therapy isn't important. That's very important. But my motto is feel first, then talk, because what you talk about will change. You literally won't talk about the same thing before you feel. I guarantee it. Your whole conversation will shift. So, in terms of the new car, I would ask you. So you
Mhm.
need a new car,
Right.
you know, and driving this car makes me feel. But we're not gonna. I'm shortcutting the cleanse. Do you want to cleanse on it? What do you want to do? Because I don't want to shortcut the cleanse.
You do whatever you like. I am wide open because I think it will help other people to see this process. So I'm
Yeah.
good with that. Yeah. Yeah.
You
Whatever
sure?
we
Because I know we have this person with a question, but so
We'll get to it. We may answer it even in what we're going through right now.
Okay.
Mhm.
We'll go through it because if anyone's ever worked with me, I'm a big fan of being consistent and I don't want to shortcut the cleanse. So the cleanse is, again, an acronym for the 7 steps. You start at the C and you go to the E and it never changes. The
Okay.
variations change. And I wrote 52 cleanses in energy and action. So just know they're all there for you. So you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. And anyone else out there, as long as you're, are you ready? Say, I'm ready. All right.
Zach says I need to manifest 2 6-month paid vacations back to back.
Months.
He's got a good sense of humor, but
I,
yeah. So anybody that wants to join in, let's join in together. And if what we're going to go through doesn't answer your question that we have highlighted, we will get to it.
okay. All right. So, okay, so we're going to do the first step of the cleanse, everyone. And again, there's many variations. So what I'm showing you today, there's many variations of this. I'm just going to do the quickest one. So Lorilei, if you could just take your right ear to your right shoulder, everybody start with
Okay,
this.
so my right ear to my right shoulder.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what you're going to do is called clear reactivity, that first step.
Okay.
And take your eyes and drop them down. And please don't do this if you're driving. Drop them down towards over that right shoulder towards the floor.
Okay.
And hold that on exhale. 5, navel to spine. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Then when you bring your head back to center, you'll probably get an inhale, right? So let that inhale come up.
Okay.
So make sure you're taking the inhale, everybody, okay? Don't rush it. And then left ear, left shoulder. I promise you, it's not going to be long, but you don't want to skim when you're in it. So eyes are down over that left shoulder. Again, we're in the C, and exhale 5, navel to spine, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then bring your head back to center. Everybody take a nice deep breath. Inhale, exhale. Okay, check in, Lorilei. And I know you're hosting a show and you have a lot coming at you over there, much more than I do, but I need you to check in with your body. And I almost feel, just checking in with you, do it one more time on each side. So everybody, right ear, right shoulder.
You can see how bad my neck is.
I can, she's not ready yet. Okay, folks, I can tell. That's okay. And just, it's good for everyone. It's like getting your prep for food in the oven, or that preheating the oven. You got to get that oven a certain temp, and then bring your head back to center. So you have a little stiffness in your neck is what you're saying? A lot of stiffness. Okay, left ear.
I have a back injury as a nurse.
Okay,
and spine is a neck about in the shape of about a 97-year-old woman.
Okay, so let's do instead with you. So let's take your head back to center. Let's everybody inhale for 1, belly out. Let's keep your neck nice and strong, Lorilei. 2, nice and long. 3, pause at the top, everyone, for a moment, and then exhale for 3, 2, yeah, that's better for you, and 1. Good. Yeah. And keep your eyes so that they're, they're not going up towards the ceiling this time. Okay, Lorilei. Okay. Inhale 1, 2, put your gaze down a little bit. 3, everybody pause. 1, 2, and exhale for 4. You're doing much better this time. 3, 2. Okay.
There's no pain in his face.
I feel much better. Okay, good. So that's good for everybody to see, because we don't want to start processing and she's in pain or reactivity or in discomfort. That's not going to work for her. Okay. So you got to kind of know your body. All right. So now repeat after me. Say, how I feel in my body. I'm in step 2. How I feel in my body right now is, but don't answer it. You're going to inhale, exhale. Say that.
How I feel in my body right now is.
Inhale. Good. And everybody can breathe, and exhale. Being in my body right now makes me feel. Say that.
Being in my body right now makes me feel.
Good. Inhale. And exhale. Can I ask you, your back injury, did it have anything to do with a car accident or anything like that?
No, a nursing injury. I had a patient cover a hole in the front steps. I was community visiting nurse, and I fell through and shattered all my discs. I will tell you something shifted, though. I know enough. I've had body talk and stuff. Something did shift.
Yeah.
Midsection right here. Yeah.
Oh, you mean just now shifted? Yeah. Okay. Just hold on a second. You had an accident on your job, you're saying, but it was unexpected.
Completely unexpected.
And you fell, you said?
Well, no. I originally hurt my back when I was 16 working. I used to work at Sears, for those of us in North America. I was no longer around. I fell down the stairs and my whole spine twisted.
So we're going to call it accident. Okay.
Okay. They were all accidents. They were unexpected.
They were all accidents. Okay. So let's just take another deep breath now. Okay. Okay. And when my body recalls these accidents, say that. When my body recalls
these accidents,
or remembers these accidents,
it
makes me feel.
Take
a nice deep breath. Just breathe in. And don't answer it. Just breathe in and breathe out. I know we want to hook into the answers, but everyone do the best you can to let go of the words and just let the breath do the thing. Okay. So
I don't have an answer, actually. So that was cool. People are doing this. Somebody answered mine was a car accident. So people are needing this.
Yeah, that's good. So she's being a reflection for a lot of people, helping a lot of people.
There's a lot shifting all through my abdomen.
Yay! I love it.
Liver.
Yeah. Okay. So I got to get back in the energy. So remember, and when my body remembers or recalls the accident, or is reminded of the accident? Say that.
When my body remembers and is reminded of the accident,
It makes me feel
it makes me feel
good. Inhale, just breathe in, everyone, and breathe out. Okay. So, yeah, this is a deep one. I'm glad we're doing it, but it is, you can see how this would be tough to do this work on your own sometimes, right? You need
very. Mm-hmm.
things like shows like yours, or, even, I'm not just saying you have to see someone, but you need support in whatever way it shows up. The next step is we're going to hum together. It's
Oh,
an
God.
inhale.
A terrible hummer.
Yeah, I know. It's just a
Um,
hum. That's it. It's the hum mantra. It's the third step. It's the emit in the cleanse. All right. So we're going to inhale. What I want you to hum is this shattered. Anything that makes you feel shattered, sort of, whenever there have something unexpected, it can really shatter a lot of things, right? I mean, and so just hum this, the trauma, right? Anything that sort of made anything feel like it was in pieces, and if anyone's listening, whether it's a breakup or an accident or anything where you kind of went into pieces, you kind of feel like almost like a vase, right?
okay.
And you're like, now I got to get back together again. We're all going to hum that together. All right. So I want you
Okay.
to
So am I
hum.
going to hum what you're humming then?
Yeah. We're going to just
Okay.
do inhale, exhale. We're going to hum 3 times, and then we'll
Okay.
go from there. So you keep just noticing your body like you do. You're really good at that. Okay. So we're going to inhale, everyone. I can hum pretty long because I do it all the time, but if you can hold it long, that's great. Inhale again, everyone. Inhale, chin parallel to the earth, sit up tall. Inhale. And you're just humming all that trauma around there. Hum. Good. Everybody, I feel like people are doing it and that's helping. So thank you if you're participating. Inhale again. Hum. Okay. Now I want you to just observe. Everybody pause, observe the energy in your body because you just hum. Just notice and observe any shifts in the body, just like Lorilei does, right? You observe. Notice
There's all kinds. And my son was in here. He knows not to come in when I'm live. I have a son with autism, and I was going, even sending some energy to him, like, out the door you go.
How does your body feel? How does your body feel now? Do you need another hum?
Oh, I gotta tell you,
Are you loosening
and I'm
up?
not doing this because it's a show. I feel incredible.
Well,
I
we're not
know.
done yet. We're not done. I'm just checking in along the way because your son came in. Okay. So let's just stay in the energy here. Lorilei, if you could sort of imagine one color, the first color that pops in your head right now, what would you see pop?
Red.
Red. Okay.
Very closely split second by indigo blue, but it was red.
Red. I saw the indigo too. Awesome. So we're going to go with red because you see red. So the way that I've worked energy in action is every spiritual law is coupled with a ray of light. So I want you to focus on the red ray of light here. Imagine it sort of streaming. So everybody kind of connect to that red ray of light. It connects to the law of perpetual transmuted energy, which means that we can transform anything, everyone. We are not powerless. We can change energy and at the core root level. So we're all going to imagine sort of this red, beautiful red, like the red rays of a sun, only ray of light is from God, right? It's from source. It's from creator. Whatever it is of your understanding, I want you to think beyond. Okay. So connect to the red ray of light. I do feel, and I'm just going to channel a little bit, like there might have been things you would have done differently looking back on these accidents. Like maybe you wouldn't have went back to work so quick, or maybe you would have, I don't know, but do you feel like there's some things you're like, I would have did this differently, or this kind of therapy, or Do you? I don't want to be speaking
No,
for.
I can answer it. My plan was to go back. I never planned on having my second son.
Okay.
I had fertility issues, so I thought I was only going to have my one son. So I had planned to go back to become a nurse practitioner and a doctor. And in a split second, life changed. And I never really felt sorry for myself or angry, but there was a lot of fear around when I got pregnant with him. Lots of issues. It was very traumatic. So going back to change it,
If
it
you
seems so ridiculous because it's in the past, but I probably wouldn't have used the front door when it came in the side door.
Okay. Is there anything you would have changed about your recovery? Would you have
Oh, yeah.
maybe not worried about those things or been so attached to following that trajectory? I'm just saying things to kind of
Yes.
percolate,
Yes.
but what do you feel that looking back now, you gave it a little bit too much energy, certain
Oh,
areas?
it was my whole life, and my first husband, I'm really letting everything out here, guys. My first
Yeah,
husband, yeah, but I think it's helpful for people.
yeah,
If it wasn't
yeah.
helpful, we
Okay.
wouldn't be doing this. But,
Yeah,
um, it was that was his identity.
yeah,
Like, when I hurt my back for so many years, and when I did start to work on healing, I still am,
yeah.
um, he was lost. Like, he didn't that he you know what I mean? He owned the identity, like, and that's what it
Mhm.
was, and I owned it, and then I realized I was stuck in bed for almost 20 years. I didn't wanna do that anymore. I wanted to
Okay,
get better, and he didn't want
interesting.
me to get better.
Okay, so there's probably a lot of things that
Mm,
you might have shifted because I'm feeling and as everyone's connecting to this red ray of light, I'm feeling that's what really needs to be transformed here, right?
yeah.
This if we can really loosen and shift that energy, anything that felt let's how we could all relate to this, anything that felt like it took too long, right? Anything where it was like, boy, I wish I didn't give it 20 years, right, of my
Oh, yeah.
again, I have to go through things, but 20 years of it, that
You
I
know
would
what it is? So, and it's interesting you're picking this up. And I feel bad but it's nothing hidden that I'm sharing. Is that, like I said, it almost became who I was with my family
Mhm.
and everybody around me. And then when I made up my mind that I wanted to let this go, I wanted a different life, I wanted a change. Um, it was like nobody could really deal with it. The only, and anyways, where I was going with this too is I really tried to walk the walk of the talk that I do, like yourself. And I really believe we have to embrace it all because it makes us who we are today. So I guess maybe I haven't allowed myself to feel maybe some of the regrets that maybe are kind of buried deep below the surface. Could be. I'm not sure.
I'm picking up resistance, and I think everyone can relate in terms of whenever something feels like it took a long time like that to
Mhm.
get, and I've had situations in my life where it's like,
Yeah.
why did I take so long to wake up, you know? Um, it I think in some ways we're resisting, right? So if
Mhm.
everybody could connect to that red ray of light and let's reconnect to it and allow it to so these rays are like the sun. And if you really relax your body and take them in, the red ray is very cleansing and it's very grounding. Okay.
Okay.
And it's grounding and anchoring in love, right? Not grounding, oh, I just need to be calm, but grounding and love. So if you can feel like you're receiving the vibrations from the red ray of love, and as that occurs, really let that stability of love, because love is so stabilizing, allow it to just get you to surrender a little bit.
Mhm.
Right? Because if you really feel, I always say it's really tricky because on a physical level, when we talk about love, it feels one way. But once we connect to these rays and we start experiencing love on other higher frequencies, it's a whole different ball game kind of love, right? And so I want you to feel that massive stability and anchoring and grounding and love that the spiritual laws talk about, and that bring that down into Mother Earth so anybody on this planet who is resisting can let their damn guard down
I love
and
it.
Just receive it, okay?
Okay.
And sometimes these things happen in our lives because it's like the universe saying, let your damn guard down. It's right. But so now everybody received that. We're going to finish the cleanse. I've been kind of going through it a little slower because we're talking. So let's go into surrender, which is so in the red wave light, and repeat after me, Lorilei, and everybody else. All right. I allow non-resistance.
I allow non-resistance.
I allow open.
I allow open.
I allow abundance.
I allow abundance.
I allow freedom.
I allow freedom.
I allow supported.
I allow supported.
And I allow love.
And I allow love.
Okay. And the final one, I am. I am love. Everybody repeat that.
I am love.
Yeah, we're in the final step of the cleanse. I am freedom.
I am freedom.
I am open.
I am open.
Everybody's saying it. I am abundance.
I am abundance.
I am supported.
I am supported.
I am reassurance.
I am reinsurance.
I am safety.
I am safety.
And I am free.
And I am free.
Okay, so now feel your body. Everybody take a nice deep breath. Inhale and exhale. Now everyone's just kind of getting to know what this is all about. Okay, so just let your guard down. But and again, it takes practice. But feel your body. So now just let's check in before we talk about the car thing. Okay, how do you feel now, Lorilei? What's your experience like?
Well, I am utterly amazed because there were so many things. Like I have so much going on through here, but I have there's anger stored here, and I know there is. I know from certain organs that we store, and it's literally the only word I can use is being unpacked and shifting. Like I can feel that.
Yeah.
And I had a little bit of pain in my head on this side for a minute, and then that was gone. I just feel energized, and I feel like there's a lot of shifting that needs to go on that will continue probably long after the podcast tonight.
Yeah. Well, guess what? When you don't have a car that you're happy with, you feel restricted, right? You feel held back. You feel the energy's tight, right? I get it. I was there last summer. I was like, I hate this car. Right. I felt held back by my car. It sucked up gas. I felt like I couldn't use it very much,
Exactly. And I've really tried to love that car.
And you know what?
Feeling, picture it whole.
I get it. But guess what? It's not about the damn car, everyone. Don't over focus on the damn car. She needed to move some stuff. Then as she moves this, then I promise that stuff will come. That's the easy part, right? That stuff will flow. You will all of a sudden be like, oh my God, there's a car. I mean, that's what happened to me. I just one day, my husband and I went out to dinner. It was 5 o'clock. We were having dinner. We were like, car dealership closes at 6. Do you want to try to hurry up and eat and go? Sure. Let's go. We walk in. We're like, we're sorry. We're 10 minutes till you close. Feel free to like tell us to go away. Come in. Of course they say that. Come in. We're here. Bought a car. Done. Cheapest car payment I've ever had. Best car I've ever had in my life. Gave me great money for my car. I just was so it was like, how does that happen? That's manifesting. That's the way manifesting is. It isn't, oh, please, 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 please give me a new car, honey, because it's never about that. Right. But again, I'm always feeling my feelings. And once
you do this every day, and I have to really say this to you, Sherianna, I think this was imperative that this happened the way it did, because I wasn't really understanding when you were saying feeling your feelings, but what you've just shown here, this is a different way to process and feel the feeling. And like, it's so much more clear. I hope it is to everybody else. I can tell by some of the comments that it is, that people understand this. Because, so why does this work? What have you learned about this? Because I'm telling you guys, if you guys aren't feeling this, either on the replay or watching live tonight, you will, if you get Sherianna's book. We're going to make sure you know how to contact her afterwards, because this is the kind of work you do.
Let me ask you this, Lorilei. Do you feel like you know you're going to get a car? Do you feel more sense of confidence that this is all going to work out for you with the car business?
I'm much more so than I did before. Yes.
Yeah, that's how you know there's a shift. Like, okay, I get it. It's happening, right? I'm not panicking. I'm not worried. I'm not pissed. I'm not reacting saying, this sucks. That's when you know you've got something emotionally you have to move. And don't get so distracted by the car that you miss it, right?
Mhm.
Feel first, then focus on and say, okay, I'm going to do what feels right. And first of all, you got to allow yourself to be even open to a new car. If you're so busy griping about it, you're not open. I wasn't open. I was too busy griping and bitching and
I
complaining.
haven't said it to anybody, actually.
I
I kept
was.
it
I was.
inside.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I said, we're going
Yeah.
to talk about Joan. I thought, why am I saying Joan? It's me. So, no, I don't, like, I really don't say a lot of things like that to people. I have
Well,
tons and tons of acquaintances and friends, especially in the work that we do, but I have a very small inner circle. So even I might have told maybe one person, but I don't complain about it because, like I said, my son named that car. My eldest son, 12 years ago, it was used, and so I've kept the name. And I literally, you guys are going to think this sounds crazy, but hey, we're on the UFO Paranormal Radio Network. It had its check engine light on and something else. And one time I was driving it from one side of the city to the other, so I did an experiment. This is how powerful our minds, our thoughts, and our emotions are. Is I pictured it whole and healthy, like it would have been brand new. My son named him Harry, and I just kept focusing and sending love and sending love and sending love. Do you know both those lights went off? Like it
wow.
worked beautifully. Mhm,
That is powerful.
mhm. So I'm going to read Sandra's things here just for a minute. I think we may have answered that question that was there earlier. Please let us know if we haven't, because this is probably something people have never seen. I have done body talk before years ago when I was trying to heal my back. But again, it's finding what the body is telling you. I find this is more energetically based, if you will, shifting the energy. I
Hmm.
find this much more powerful. But Sandra says, definitely get chills with these activations. And then she also says, when you deal with a particular struggle over an extended period of time, it's easy to fall into the trap of identifying self through the struggle rather than self outside of the struggle.
Definitely.
So, do you feel like we answer? I'm going to go back to that question. Let me just go back a wee bit here. Because it was space. Oh, wait, I think I saw it. Sorry, guys. My mouse does not want to participate. Hello. Okay, we got a hello. There we go. So the question was, how do you manifest positive in a relationship or every day? I'm thinking she's probably asking with a daily relationship. Maybe it's a spouse. Maybe it's whomever it is.
Hmm. Just, well, again, there's probably some feelings there.
We could do a whole show on this. Like,
Yeah, I mean, you cleanse, I always cleanse first. I feel like I know nothing until I cleanse and feel the energy.
where
And
did that
first,
come from? Where did that come from?
well, okay, so I wrote Emotional Detox and was published in 2018. And
Mhm,
at the time, 2000, I wrote a book on mantras before that.
mhm,
Um, and then after I wrote the Mantras Made Easy, I said to myself, gosh, emotional detox. I'm going to write it. I really want to write a book on emotional detox. I'm going to start researching, what happens to our emotions? Where did they come from? What happens when we process them? How do we process them? It was like all these questions I was looking for about 5 weeks. I was researching.
okay.
And then lo and behold, I'm hit with the biggest emotional thing in my life, like the kind of news you don't want to get out of nowhere. And
Mhm,
I'm just like traumatized, right? And it wasn't just me, it was my family. So I called the publisher, and Simon Schuster had already decided they were going to publish it. And
mhm,
I said, I can't publish this. I can't write this book. I'm I'm in trauma. I can't. I have no business writing this book. They were like, yes, you can. You're going to get through it. They were wonderful. You're going to get through this and you're going to write this book. And honestly, I was so down. I was ready to give another author the title because you don't actually own the title of your books when you do with a traditional publisher. They can put another author on it. if they like it enough and think it's going to sell, they can say, okay, we'll let somebody else write it. But they didn't do that, thank God. And so I said, all right, and went to therapy. Took a while to find a therapist because I had researched so much on emotions that I would sit down and I'd be like, this isn't going to work. Right. I would hear all the research in my mind. So I finally found a therapist that I really liked, and I went for about 6 months.
Right.
And then something beautiful happened during therapy. The therapist asked a question, and she got distracted, like one of her children called or something. And I was sitting there thinking, okay, well, how am I going to answer this question when she comes back? And literally, thank God I'm in good hands. You know, I always feel like I'm kind of crazy when I say this, but you're a channeler and a lot of people here are into this. I heard a voice and it said, don't answer the question.
And you had enough experience to know that spirit never steers you wrong.
Yes, yes. And I was like, what? And she came back, and I remember her talking to me, and all I'm doing is thinking about the voice. And I'm just nodding at that point. And I leave, and this is the odd part. I left. I remember leaving the office, going to my car, and I thought to myself, that's the last time I'm going to therapy. And I sat home, which is very odd. The old me would have been like, oh, you need to have closure, and I really should talk to her about this. But the new me was like, no. Right. So I went home, I sat down, like, okay, what does that mean? And that's when the cleanse steps started channeling in. And that's where how I feel in my body right now is. And then you inhale, exhale, started to evolve. Right. And that's what spirit started to say, no, honey, you're not going to answer the question. I was like, oh, I'm not going to answer that. And my breath, by the way, because I was so traumatized, it was so tiny. You know, the more trauma you have, you can't breathe.
At the beginning when we were doing this, I had a hard time. And now, like, I have so much energy. Like, I feel I'm a pretty energetic person. I don't sleep a lot, but yeah, like the changes. And I would love to, if anybody did this with us, I'd love to hear if you felt something, or if you may not know what a shift feels like, but it'll literally it literally feels, I know what it feels like, because from having body talk, like you may even get a gurgle in your throat, or it's not like gas feeling, like it literally feels like little magic fingers for me all through my abdomen right now. And like things are moving. And I don't mean from a TMI perspective. You can feel, well, really, I don't, but you can feel it. Like, I don't know how to explain it.
Can I ask that person who asked the question, how do you manifest positive in a relationship or everyday life? If you're still here, let me ask you to take a nice deep breath. Do those little neck stretches for a second. So if you yourself could do a little stretch of your neck, I feel like that would be okay for you. Hold it for 5 seconds. Exhale as you hold. Look down with your eyes. Don't look up. Okay. And back to center. Get some breath there. And then left ear, left shoulder. Again, eyes go down. Take a second. So the person who's asking the question, other people can follow along because everyone's probably has the same kind of similar question. Then I'm doing a little faster this time. Then bring your head back to center. Let that breath come in a little bit. Okay. Now just say out loud, the person who asked, how I feel in my body right now is. How I feel in my body right now is. Inhale. And exhale. And what I want you to do, person that's asking, and everybody can go along, is I want you to hum any perfection, okay? Any areas of your life where you're feeling like it's less than perfect, right? Expectations, pressure. I want you to hum that, and everyone's going to hum that, right? Together. I think we could all take the pressure down a notch or two. And I know we all want to be positive and this and that, you know, just like you see on social media. But I'm feeling like that's getting in the way a little bit. So let's all take a nice deep breath, inhale, and hum the positive expectations, blah, 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 3 times. Hum. And let's just say one out. I feel like we could use one more. I'm going to go back to step 2 for a second. And when I put the pressure on myself, or when I tell myself I'm not positive, how about that one? When I tell myself I'm negative or I'm not enough, it makes me feel. Okay, say that out loud. When I tell myself I'm not enough, or I'm negative, or I'm doing something wrong, it makes me feel. Now, remember, you don't answer it. We inhale, everybody, and exhale. Okay, good. Now we got it. So now everyone hum. Ready? Hum. Let that hum bring you to the present moment, okay? Okay, everybody inhale. And we're all kind of holding this person. We're holding the space for this person. We're going to do one more hum together. Everybody inhale. And again, a little bit of trauma stuff there for some of you who have had maybe people say things to you that are hurtful or, you know, whatever. Just kind of release that. Okay, so person who asked the question, what color do you see? First one that pops in your mind. See if they, Lorilei, if they answer that question.
Yeah, I'm watching. I'm watching. Let's
Popping
see.
in. Hopefully you're not driving, but what color is just the first one that pops?
Hopefully they didn't answer us yet, so they might have popped off. I'm not sure, but anybody, should we ask then whoever has a color come to mind? If they're
Yeah,
not,
what are we getting out there? What are people seeing? Just out of curiosity.
we'll give them a minute here. This is so powerful, and again, I know honestly because I was trying to figure out because I haven't had the chance to read your new book yet, but because it just came out at the beginning of May. But
Yeah.
so it has these exercises in it. You said 52 different.
Yeah, I wrote them
Okay.
all out. And stories. So you're going to hear stories like what this person's saying, because we do learn from each other, sharing. Like you're going to hear, oh, okay, this is how. So green. Green is, I don't know if it's the person or someone else. Is it someone else?
Sandra's doing it though. I know she is because she's the one that definitely got chills and the last
Okay,
one
great.
after that.
Okay. So she sees green. I actually saw yellow for the other person. So the other
Okay.
person, but we could also go with green. She feels, Sandra's vibration feels a little different to me. So, but we could do green. Green's, if I focus on Sandra, so green is always about compensation. So I pair up every color with a spiritual law, just so you know. That was I was spiritually guided to pair the rays of light and the laws. That way it makes this simple, because it can be very complicated and abstract, all this stuff, right? So that's why I go with and that's how your intuition, you get it strong. What color do you see? Green. Great. Now we're strengthening intuition. Now we're getting you to trust your gut, right? So green is all about, again, the spiritual law of compensation. Since she put green, I'm going to focus on her. So let me just check. I got to get another hum just to get back in. So we're going to inhale. Everybody hum, hum. Again, it feels very different vibration here. Is Sandra, since you're playing along, are you someone, do you know Sandra?
I have met her from my co-host. She's absolutely lovely.
Okay. She feels totally different, like a very encouraging, loving.
Yes.
person.
Yes.
So I'm gonna go with her vibration right here, and because I can read between her vibration and then the law and the ray. So I feel like you want to know that you're going to receive back from all that love and warmth you give to other people. You will be compensated for that. So just know, I think sometimes when we give a lot and we love and we're kind, sometimes we can wonder if we're getting stepped on,
Oh, yeah.
or taken advantage of,
Or not good at
or
receiving either. We're
right,
good at giving.
or somebody else is going to get there quicker because they're not so nice. I want you to let go of all that BS. Okay, don't let your mind get caught up in that. People will tell you, "Oh, you're too nice. You're too this. You're too that."
Nice guys finish last.
Yeah, Sandra, just don't even pay attention to it. I don't know if that even has entered you, Sandra, but that's what I'm feeling like you need to hear. Yes, you absolutely. It will. You're in it for the long run, is what I'm feeling. Right, when you have that, take that time to build relationships, build with kindness, and you care. Right, you're not just like a, quick thing. So I'm going to just say, take in the green ray, and everybody here, take in the green ray. And it's more important. So now we're in that, the ray is the A, and then the N is the nourish. I want you to sit and really absorb the rays of the green ray, which are healing, which are abundant, which are truth, right? And we can get swayed and we can get tempted by things that aren't based on truth. And the laws tell us that. And when I say truth, we're talking vibration, right? So I would take in the green, and then I would say, I allow abundance. I allow peace. So repeat those statements. I allow compensation. I allow you might increase of income. I kind of feel like that would be a nice thing for you to allow, Sandra. I allow compensation. I allow recognition. And then I am recognition. I am abundance. I am compensation. Really allow it from your environment. I am healing. I am truth. I am free. Okay. Yeah, she just said, I get told I'm too nice and I just laugh. You know what? Stop listening. I would, don't let that confuse you. You're not that whole too nice thing. That's kind of people don't realize, right? I mean, what do you think about that, Lorilei? That too nice comment?
Okay, so I don't think there is. I wrote a post this weekend on Facebook about the honor and gift of being chosen to be the guardian of basically my two sons' souls. And I was talking about, because I think all of us as mothers and parents may go through this when we've had our first child and we love them so much. It doesn't matter if it's a first child, doesn't matter if it's a human child, whatever. We're looking after somebody and we love them that much. Then we find out a second is coming. I know one of my big fears is, how am I ever going to love another child as much as this first one? But the big lesson it taught me was, there's never not enough love. There's always so much love, and it just continues to multiply and grow exponentially. So it's the same thing when people tell you're too nice. I equate it with that as well. There's no such thing as too nice, right? It's kindness, it's love, it's respect, it's treating people the way you would like to be treated. And I don't think we can have too much of that anywhere, anytime. I don't.
Let me just, if you don't mind, Sandra, let me just do a little hum here and ask spirit, since we're connected, everyone reconnect to the green ray, and let's just inhale. Let me just see if there's anything else since you said that. Inhale, and everybody hum. Let me ask you this, Sandra. Are you efficient? Are you an efficient person? Like, do you get things done? And hopefully she'll hop back on. Are you?
She will.
Yeah. Let's
She
see.
told me she was coming tonight. We got lots of people just listening in the background too. She says,
are you efficient?
It's clear that they need more niceness. Okay, so she was just answering. So she'll answer, I'm sure, in just a second.
Okay. Yeah. I'm curious if you're efficient. Okay.
And Zachman says he's the opposite, but we'll work with Sandra. See, this is so perfect for people because they can see what you mean, what you're talking about, how this works.
Well, do
And
you see how I felt first? And now we're focusing on the languaging and the words. We have to feel first, and then. Now the question, we'll go back. Are you efficient is my question for you, Sandra. Do people tell you, like, are you like a good person to call on when something needs to get done or organized? Can you just let us know that answer? But in terms of we go back to the original person, which we lost connection.
Right.
It was about being positive. And I think, that whole, sometimes that people pleasing thing, right?
Yes.
Or the perfect or less than or not good enough. You heard some of that stuff that needed to be moved, right? And then once you move it, you feel that sense of stability, which is very healing, very grounding. And then it's like, okay, well, what am I really focusing on? Am I focusing on positive relationships, or am I focusing on stability? Am I focusing on, I would have been inner strength. I get things done. I'm very dependable. I knew it. Okay. So what Spirit's telling me, when people tell you you're too nice, you have to reframe them. I'm efficient. I'm very efficient. Okay. Change them. Don't say, yes, people tell me all the time I'm efficient. Don't say, oh yeah, people tell me I'm too nice. Don't repeat it. Don't repeat what kind of throws you off,
I
people.
just heard don't repeat or tell yourself other people's stories.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You're efficient, and that's a great quality. Anybody else? How we doing? I like what you heard.
And I
too.
remember you talking a little bit about this on the live with Carmen, but I really believe this was so powerful, and I really appreciate this because I was going to mention Zach as well, if that's okay.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get into how people can use this book because, like you said, it's easier to have somebody help you facilitate this process, like with you working with people. But you wrote the book too for people to be able to do this as well, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
I just had a client the other day, and she was like, wasn't expecting. I think she just was going to do a one shot. Sometimes I get referrals from like nutritionists, and they'll just say,
Right.
go see, Sherry for a session, then come back. And I'm very respectful
Mhm.
that they belong to that person, like in terms of clients. So I'm always like, go back to your person. You guys talk. Like, I'm not like gonna, so anyway, this person was like, well, I really kind of want to continue, but
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but I want to continue. I said, get the book. Get the book. It's energy in action. It's all in there. If you need help, call me back. But get the book. I've written them out. You're going to be able to follow it as long as you do it. So, and I read my own book in the morning. So I get up and I have it in the same place. I sit down, I start to cleanse, and I go through the steps. And and it's always amazing to me how, even myself, where I do this all the time, I miss
Mhm.
stuff. I realize, oh, wow, that really was on my mind. Oh, wow, those things really do bother me. Oh, wow, this was something that I wasn't addressing, in my life. And it's totally fine. And then I sit in those rays, which are so powerful. And once you
Mhm.
get to know them, they're with you they're already with you all the time. You're just not open to them. You
Mhm.
get, they're like friends. They're
Mhm.
always with me. And I just let them help me manifest, because they're overseen, by the way, by spiritual masters and archangels. So they're
Mhm.
very, very powerful. And I feel like they jump for joy when we connect, because we help the whole planet when we bring these rays in. And I say there's a lot of horrible things on the news and all that. We've got to focus on light, right? And watch shows like The Angel Rock,
Well,
get away
your
from,
show.
yeah, but seriously, like, this is where the light is, right?
Mhm.
Anyway, did you want to
I
do?
always say we got to focus on what we want to see, not what we don't,
Yeah.
because I'm a firm believer. And anybody that's been to my show many times hears me say this all the time. And I got this from Spirit. What we perceive becomes what we believe, and it becomes our reality.
Love it.
So, in a way, I almost feel intuitively that what you very graciously shared with us today is this is a way to help shift the stories we've been told, the stories we've absorbed, things we've told ourselves and I just had this conversation with somebody before we went on the air about, and I've been guilty of it, we all have, we could get a gazillion beautiful comments, right? And
Mhm.
you get that one nasty comment and we ruminate over it and we hurt over it. And, I just said, and I was honest with the person, and the fact I always would be, but I said, yeah, it really hurts and it's hard to let it go. But instead of, if we could just step back and see, when people write those kind of things, that says more about the pain that they're going through, right? The safety of hiding behind a keyboard but again, we tend to really attach ourselves to it. A lot of us do.
Well,
Hmm.
most of the time when they're writing that, it's from a trigger. It's impulsive.
Hmm.
It's not thought out. They don't have all the information.
That's
It
right.
they have very little information, and it's just a reaction. It's how they are managing their emotions.
Hmm.
A reaction is how we make the uncomfortable comfortable. And some people make the uncomfortable comfortable by lashing out, but we know that's not really true comfort, right?
Mm.
So anyway, do you want me to address Zach's thing here?
If you want, or do you want to talk more
Yeah.
about the book? Because it's 7:25 almost already. See how fast it goes by?
Curious. I mean, I'm just going to check in for him really quick so we don't
Okay,
have to,
sure. Thanks. I'm sure he'll
but,
appreciate it.
so you can talk as I'm checking in. You want to keep
Okay, how's
talking?
that?
Okay, so
Perfect.
I'm going to Zach, I don't know if you're driving, but I'm kind of just going to tap into the energy. Do you have anything you want to talk about?
Well, actually, what I'll do is I'll read his comments because there'll be people that
Okay,
are
perfect.
listening and they won't be able to see this. So Zach Mann says,
Yeah.
he said it to Sandra, but I've highlighted it. He said to Sandra, I'm the opposite of what Sandra has been told to be too nice. It says, at least at my day job, I've been told I'm too mean. I'm only stern when someone knows better and does the opposite. At the end of the day, I care about my livelihood and hang on, I'm highlighting that, and those of my coworkers, and making sure our customers are being serviced 100% correctly.
Yeah. So,
If you
Zach.
still want to tune in, you let me know. I'll talk if you want,
Yeah,
whatever
no,
you
Zach, if you could just take a breath just so I can tap into the energy. Zach, if you could do your neck stretch a little bit. And again, there's many variations of this. I'm just sticking with what's easy right now. Just kind of stretch. And then if you can just say out loud, Zach, how I feel in my body right now is right. And just get some movement there. And then, Zach, I want you to hum out loud, and I want you to hum feeling defensive or even a little offensive. Okay, good, Zach. Okay. So you're going to inhale. You did your neck. Make sure you do these things in order. And then you're going to do how I feel in my body. And let me take a step back. Zach, say, and when people tell me those things, it makes me feel. And then take a deep breath. And everybody can do it because we've all been told, you're this, you're that. Believe
Oh,
me, my
yeah.
kids have said things to me that, you're this, whatever. It's done now, but let's breathe.
Mhm.
Inhale. Right. And so when people tell me those things it makes me feel. And, I think, it
Excuse
is
me.
hurtful. And sometimes we think mean people aren't hurt, and that's the misperception there. We think because they're mean, they're hard and cold and, kind of ruthless, but they do get hurt, and sometimes the mean is, we perceive it as mean, but it's really, they're hurt, and scared.
I don't
And
think Zach's got a mean bone in his body because I've known
yeah,
him for quite a few years.
yeah. Well,
But
like your Zach needs to be humming scared. You feel scared to me. It's very scary to run a business. I give you a lot of credit. I could not do it.
Mhm.
And the way people can write reviews and um yeah. So I
Oh,
think
look at you.
yeah,
Thanks, Zach, for being honest.
yeah.
So he
Well,
says, I feel apprehensive for those listening.
Well, you got to hum. It's just a hum. Is it about the hum you feel apprehensive, or you just feel the emotion of apprehensive? Well, I feel there's a lot of fear and scared. And so let's just hum, everybody, for
Okay.
ourselves, for Zach. Okay.
Mhm.
Let's be with him so he's not alone, because he's a little nervous about that. So if we could do it together, that would help him. Okay. So we're going to inhale. Hum. Okay. I've kind of got it in that one hum there, Zach. I'm curious, Zach, what color would pop in right now for you?
I will add while he's typing. Michelle, she's over in Australia. Welcome, Michelle. She said, "Hurt people, hurt people." And
That's
Zach
right.
Man says, "I don't own the business, but I manage a large portion of the company operations." So he'll
What,
put color down in a sec.
what's your
Sorry, go
color?
ahead.
Take a breath and think color. Focus on color right now, Zach. Thank you for telling us more. Breathe in and breathe out. And then when you can, put a color. I've got something for you, but I'm just curious what's coming in for you. So do you see anything yet, Lorilei, for him?
So sorry. Yes, I do. I'm multitasking. I have a son with autism, like I said, and he was having a temper tantrum. So I'm trying to.
Whatever you need.
I
Whatever.
muted for a sec
I
while
can
you were
talk.
doing your. Thank you, and
Wow.
he calmed down.
Okay. Yeah. So he's got a
So
little.
Zach Man says he sees black.
Okay. Take another breath. All right. I'm going to hum and see if I can tap in here. Okay. We're going to inhale. So again, it's so different with everyone. So I don't want everyone to think, okay, black means that, you know what I mean? I'm just tapping into Zach. What I feel is feeling unprotected. Do you relate to that, Zach? Do you feel and something where you feel unprotected? It's an energy thing. Don't get caught up in stories, but feeling unprotected or vulnerable or unsupported, or see if that you can relate to any of that, or anybody else can relate to that. And take a breath. Yeah, he's a little stiff, but I know you said he's very
He's had and I won't give away anything, Zach. I know you've shared on this show before, but he's had a lot of loss over the last 6 months.
Yeah, he feels stiff, and he doesn't, and we don't want to push him. So right now, so Zach, I want you to imagine blue. Okay, everybody visualize blue for yourselves. Everybody focus on a beautiful blue ray of light. Okay, everybody take a deep breath. Blue ray of light. Take it above the crown of your head. Inhale and exhale. Okay, just let that in, Zach. Keep letting it in, letting it in, letting it in. Blue ray of light. Keep breathing it in like you're breathing in oxygen. Okay, like someone just gave you an oxygen mask, and you're like that kind of breath. Take it in, that oxygen, and
Oh, he said it's a common theme in many of my nightmares where I feel helpless.
yeah, the poor thing. Yeah, just
thanks for your.
that's why I'm feeling the oxygen mask. We got to take in your breath, take in that blue ray of light, and we want you to start feeling protected and safe, and so everybody's taking it in for yourself, and just say out loud, and then I'm going to ask Spirit any questions, in Lorilei if you're getting anything for him. But so just say, I allow, and that's a big step to just say that. I allow protection. I allow faith. I allow true power. I allow vulnerability, meaning vulnerability can help you heal, right? And I allow change. And then I am change. I am vulnerability. I am faith. Everybody, I am true power. I am protection. Okay. So see how you feel, Zach. I'm just going to do a hum as you're writing back and letting us know where you're at. So everybody, I'm going to do one hum. And Lorilei, if there's anything that you want to add, but let me do
I do have it.
inhale. Okay. Hum. Okay, Zach, first tell us how you're doing.
Do you want me to say anything? You want to wait till you hear back from Zach?
It's your show, honey.
You're running it right now, and I'm so grateful that you're sharing it, Laura. And we're in a partnership. So, Zach, and you've had readings before. Once upon a time ago, I used to have time to do, free one question reading. But Zach, I want to share this with you from Spirit, that it is okay to open your heart again. It is okay to be accepting of love. But before we give love to anybody else, we need to give ourselves love. This is one of the ways I think this is incredible work that we could all use, but it's okay. It's a safe space. And because I feel like you've got a whole wall, like not even concrete, like concrete, it's concrete with steel, with everything up all around your heart, and you don't want to let anybody in. And that's okay. But really focusing on yourself right now, it's almost like that old analogy of we have to keep filling up our own cup first as we give to others, so that we always have something to give. And that means starting with ourselves first, so that by learning to accept love and be okay with love, like loving yourself, because that's what I'm really feeling. There's an aversion even to that. It's just that big wall of protection right now. I get why, but it's okay. Spirit saying it's okay to take those walls down, even if you have to do it brick by brick. It's okay. So, Zach.
Oh, he's seeing white. Yay, we did it.
Okay, so I'm gonna read this out loud. The color I can see now, as Zach said, is white. It's
Yeah.
calmness, but it's where any problem that comes from my way can be solved. Yay!
You did it. Yeah.
Incredible.
Couple things, Zach, and again, it's like kind of like parenting. When one of the kids are acting out at the kitchen table, and then their siblings, it's like they encourage us. I taught parent education for years, so we always had conversations about this. And people would say, "I have a business, and this is parenting classes helping me with my business." But
Mm-hmm.
little simple things like we don't call people out in front of other people. Right? Take them in private, make it respectful, maybe even sit down, instead of standing, or I'm not sure what it looks like. Little things like that people can appreciate, and are you available to have a conversation about da da da? Ask permission to have the conversation. These little things can make people feel like, okay, I get it. He took that extra step to me, and I don't know if that's happening, but I know these little things have helped me out, remembering it's so easy. The other day I went to the high school to help my daughter with some paperwork, and the principal was meeting with a student and waiting for the student's parent, and I'm at the receptionist area, and I'm with my daughter. We're getting her work papers for the summer. My daughter homeschools, so we're just kind of visiting at the school to get the work papers. And the principal's outside the office, and I can hear the whole thing. I can hear about the suspension. I can hear about what he did, and I'm just in earshot. And I'm thought, and she handled it beautifully. She was kind. She wasn't mean. She said it's okay to make mistakes. But kids who are in high school, middle school, don't you think they know there's a kid standing behind them, right? It's like their radar, they won't even hear you, first of all, because now they're in protection mode. Like, I'm humiliated, it's bad enough I'm being called out. But if we can just take that extra step to go, let's make sure we go somewhere private, right? Let's take a moment. We have to think about the whole picture here. It's not just, what do I need to do? What needs to happen? The steps I need to take because this occurred. We got to kind of broaden that awareness. And that's what happens when you start feeling, is you become aware of the delivery, I suppose, you know.
I gave the advice today, actually, as a parent of adults now, is that one of the things I try to do is catch them at things that kids, and people aren't kids, but people are people, is
Yeah.
when they're doing something really great. I mean, you're not going to make it fake, but really notice that. Like say, I loved when you did that. That was great. When they make a mistake, if you have to say a quick hard no right away, then afterwards, maybe while if it's little ones are having a bath or even teenage, whatever, when it's a calm period, not right before bed, because it gives people a lot to think about, but talk about what went wrong and maybe how could we, how do you think you might be able to change that or improve it? Like, those problem solving skills. But the most important thing, I think, for people, especially when we're in a leadership or management role, whether it's a parent, a manager, whatever, is to try and think back, especially if you've got somebody younger than you or somebody that's new. What did I feel like when I was in that situation? What happened to me that made me feel like something like, because I can remember being a student nurse and some of my mentors, right? And I understand it's a high stress job and whatever, but I remember that. I remember what it was like to be 13 and 14, where that level of humiliation and mortification, like your parents just even looking at you was just, it's just a growth and development stage. So trying to remember that and have some empathy, because I think we forget it, right? Like when we get really good at our jobs or, we're in a stressful situation, right? We act in the
Yeah.
moment. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and even in our 20s, they're all new at their job. They're still
Yeah.
getting their feet wet, some of these 20-year-olds. And they take some of those things hard. And you're like, you're an adult. Like we give feedback
You just
here.
say, I don't want to be an adult.
Right, right. Yeah, it is interesting. But I love the way you landed in white. That makes all the
It's
difference
so
in the world.
cool.
It says
Mm-hmm.
that something shifted, and white is all about new beginnings. So,
Mm-hmm.
so thank you for letting Lorilei and I sort of,
Yes.
you know, into your world a little bit. So that's how the book works. And again, that's energy in action, what you're going to get. So you've
So do
gotten,
you help people? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
yeah,
I have
go ahead.
so many questions. So when you're going through this exercise, right?
Mhm.
The cleanse and
Yeah.
reminding people energy in action is a book. I forgot to, I'm so enthralled here. I forgot to remind people you're listening to 105.5 and 107.7 on United Public Radio Network, otherwise known as UFO Paranormal Radio Network. To the Angel Rock, I'm your host, Lorilei Potvin, and our amazing guest is Sheri Boyle. I see you called yourself Sheri, so I will, if that's okay.
Yeah.
And she's teaching us about her book. And I'm so grateful you did this, Sheri, because even for myself, trying to wrap your mind around when you said you need to feel the emotion versus what we're trying to manifest, that's kind of hard to picture till you kind of see the way this
You don't
whole.
want to miss it. You don't want to miss the point of it all, because the universe will recycle it back to you in another way until you get it,
But
right?
if you've never seen this
Yeah.
before, is what I'm saying, and trying to picture what even a description, I think the best way is just to show people if someone's willing to look, and whether somebody, I know there's somebody, I can hear them already out there saying, well, this is really woo woo, as we say in the light worker world. But you know what? I always say to somebody, what have you got to lose? What you're doing right now probably isn't
Well,
working, is it? Or you
it's
wouldn't be watching.
changing. Yeah. And it also is changing because the science is really backing up that
Mhm.
this is changing brains. I mean, there is science that
Oh, I
shows
hope I didn't make it sound
that.
woo-woo, but
Yeah.
I can see
Yeah.
somebody looking
Yeah.
at this
Yeah.
because we're
Yeah.
not exposed to this on this side of the world,
Yeah.
especially in the
Yeah.
Western world. Not that the
Yeah.
Eastern world is, I'm sure, has picked up many of these different types of techniques, but not all in one place. So, and it's
Yeah.
really quick too, like the
It
shift.
really is, and I stretched it out because we're chatting about things in between. But I
Mhm.
also, I don't want to forget to mention, I created the Energy in Action course, which is all self-guided.
Oh, let's talk all about that.
Yeah, yeah. So that
I'm super
course,
excited by this.
yeah, the course is Energy in Action course. So what I did was there after I wrote Energy in Action, the information kept coming. So I decided I would make the course see you have the cleanses in the book, which is 52. So it doesn't repeat that part. You need the book to do the course. And then in the course, basically you listen. I will talk about one law a day. I'll explain how this is going to work in your daily life, how to look for it, how it shows up. And then I did 13 ray of light activations. So it will guide you through every step I tell you, so that's available for people too. If you're like one of those people, some people like to do things on their own more privately. Some people like to have support. Some people like to look at the book, but it's all there on sheriannaboyle.com.
Are you doing sessions with people
Yeah,
too?
that's my main job. I actually only teach very part-time. And right now I'm not teaching at all because we're done with college. Woohoo for me.
Ooh.
So right now, mainly Zoom sessions. I'll do like what I just did with Zach. We'll kind of work through it and kind of get him to see, okay, try some stuff out. And see what spirit says, like the other person who's told she's too nice needs to say, I know I'm so efficient. You just need to be like that. I know I'm so efficient.
So it's almost like you're telling them what to say without them really realizing.
Like, yeah, I know I'm like super efficient. People tell me all the time I'm so efficient.
Yeah.
Change it.
I love it.
Otherwise, it makes you sound like you're a wimp or something, or a pushover, which I don't think she is. I think she's just a fabulous person. Yeah.
I think what happens though, and many of us, doesn't matter if you're in the light worker field, doesn't matter, whatever, right? We all hear sometimes you're too nice, or you'll get people saying you're such a pushover. And I will tell you right now, again, I'm like revealing my whole life. You're not quite, but I know that boundaries are a very important lesson for me that keep coming up. Like you said, the universe keeps bringing it over and over and over and over until we master it. And there's a fine line, right, between, say, boundaries, and there's also enabling with certain things as well. There's a whole package with it. But and I'm just going to say it, like I was always told, that's not nice. You don't say that. That's selfish. That's whatever. And again, yes, we could have gone through a whole process and worked through that, cleansed it. But my point is, it's okay to say no. And a lot of us are real givers or people pleasers, but we're also not that great at receiving. And so obviously your book would be very helpful, I'm sure, with things like this, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's can be very empowering to say no, right? Because nothing's worse than saying yes and then being like, oh, crap. I should have said no. I wish I didn't say
I know, but sometimes you feel guilty, right? And that's where I am working on. It's okay to say no, because it is.
I've heard you say a couple of times you're raising a child with autism, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely is okay to say no.
Severe autism. He is 25 and he's very much like that precocious age of a 5 to 7-year-old. So he needs mom to do everything, like personal care and you name it, right? And I'm his main caregiver. So yeah, he's nowhere near where he was when he was younger, though. He's, like I said, he's at that precocious age. Like we have perpetual Christmas. Like he still plays in Santa. He still plays with toys. But he's like almost 6'5" and well over 300 pounds and looks like a man.
God bless you. I mean, someone in your, with that level, and I honor you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. In terms of absolutely saying no is essential, for the work that you're doing there, for the patience and love and dedication and being the mom that you are every day. And the fact that you're doing this here, the show for everybody I'm really happy that people are here supporting you because you deserve it.
Thank you. No, but you know what? I think it's a gift. I think both children are a gift, but I always was told I'd never have any. So the fact that I have two, I always say I won the lottery twice. But my eldest is part of the LGBTQ community and part-time drag. So that, can bring some challenges as well. And then, but both of them, and I think we can all say that regardless of whomever we are nurturing and looking after. Because, happy belated Mother's Day to those that celebrate. And I mean
Definitely.
that to anybody, as well as those who have lost a beloved mother or sister
Mhm.
or whatever that may be. Just so you know, you're not forgotten. We see you, we hear you, we send you love, we send you healing. But they're our biggest gift, I think, right? They choose
Absolutely.
us.
Well, the
Mhm.
moms, the moms who are really, Mother's Day is a strange thing. We could have a whole show on that. Maybe
I
next year we
know.
will.
Well, I'm hoping you're going to come back again
I
because
would
I
love
just
to
can't tell you
anytime.
when.
I love this. Again, moms, it can be a very triggering holiday, I think.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's all, again, we can get into that perfection and like, oh, mom, you're the best thing, right? And there's just some moms who are doing it in a different way, who are standing by their kids. I mean, there's moms with children incarcerated right now,
Mhm.
right? And so it's going to look different for everybody. And so
Or
anyway,
those of us that have cut our mother out of our life, and I have.
exactly. Or have a,
And mhm,
yeah, a negative relationship, or
mhm,
it brings up a lot. I had someone I work with today, and it was all about Mother's Day. I mean, it can trigger people,
mhm.
but it's okay. We can cleanse it, right? We can move through it.
I think this is so incredible. Like I said, I'm so excited about this. Like, you can't begin to believe how many people I'm going to be telling. Like you, I talk to people all day long, and I'm be saying, you need to check out Sherry. You need to check
Uh,
out her book. You need to, because this is powerful. And like you had said earlier in the show, there's nothing wrong with therapy, but
no, gosh,
look at
no.
I just can't begin to tell you. And again, guys, you guys know I'm honest. I wouldn't share what I share on here if I wasn't honest. The amount of shift that I've had just with this little bit here, imagine doing it daily. But I do have a question for you, and then I'll read Sandra's comment. Is there any such thing? Because I know there's going to be somebody out there, I can literally hear it, that's going to ask, can I do this too much? Like, do I do it just once a day? Or what if I'm
I think
having a super
if you're attached to outcome or something, I
Mhm.
don't know what that would look like. I think the most important part is just get at least one down a day.
Okay.
And that consistency, because we all get busy. Honestly, I don't think anyone really has a issue with that because of our lifestyles are so on the go. I
Yeah,
think,
but there's people out here that will hear it that'll think, well, once is great, so 10
yeah.
times must be amazing. I'm telling you, it will be
I think it's quality versus quantity.
perfect.
Okay,
Perfect.
because you can cleanse a lot in one. You saw how
Yes.
much we did in your one thing
Hmm.
about your
Yeah.
car, right? So we touched
Hmm.
upon quite a few things. We don't need to hit her over the head with it, and keep making her feel like, So I think again, what I do is in the morning, I sit down and cleanse, and I just don't skip a beat. And if I get interrupted, I finish it,
Hmm.
and really you'll get to know it. You'll look forward to it, and you'll feel it's kind of like if you have a solid meditation practice.
You just read my mind.
Yeah, yeah. And I meditate as well.
Yeah.
I will meditate. That I will do sporadically,
Hmm.
right? I will cleanse every day. And
Hmm.
then I might, if I have time, just go sit. But I always kind of bring in the cleanse no matter what I'm doing, because it's like a meditation for me,
It
right?
is.
I just will maybe softly brush into it. I won't. But again, they're all written out. So don't try to write it out yourself or figure it out yourself, because they were channeled. So I like to honor, the way that they were channeled and get to know the spiritual laws a little bit. It will help
Mhm.
you.
I was going to add quickly that I'm a firm believer in that meditation doesn't have to be a full 20 minutes sitting there or an hour, 2 hours. That again, it's quality over quantity. And I run across this podcast out there. I've talked about many times on here. It's called the Next Level Soul Podcast. It's on YouTube. And have you heard of it before?
No, I'm
Okay, it's with an
yeah,
ex-Hollywood director named Alex Ferrari. And he felt the calling in the last year. He had been feeling it for a while, that he needed to get out of Hollywood and start exploring spirituality. So anything from channeling to near-death experiences to self-help, somebody like you, anybody on there, Alex interviews them for an hour. Really interesting perspectives. But there's a lady that used to work for the U.S. military, very high up, I believe, with the chief of staff. Like she was in the Navy. She was really high up. And they were atheists, her and her husband's daughter was 6 months pregnant. And I believe she got killed in the line of duty.
Mhm.
And they were so heartbroken. This lady's name is Suzanne Giesemann, and she just couldn't let it go. So she started just sitting quietly for 3 minutes a day. And that her stepdaughter's name was Susan. And she kept saying, Susan, are you out there? Susan, are you out there? She ended up connecting with Susan. She's a powerful medium now. She teaches people how to do this. She doesn't believe you have to be born to do it. But the reason I bring it up, big long story, she was talking about this on Alex's podcast about a sip of the divine on her YouTube channel, where she walks you through. She said, everybody has 3 minutes a day, and
Mhm.
she will do it with you. And she teaches you how to do it, where to start. And even if your mind's running and things that are going and you're not being able to clear, I just shared that with somebody today as well earlier, because everybody's got at least 3 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. I have to check
Well,
that
we
out.
are almost out of time. I'm going to read
Yeah.
Sandra's comment. She said, I've never been told I was a pushover. I'm so glad to
That's
hear
good.
that.
That makes sense. That makes sense to me after work, after we
Okay,
work.
so do you agree how quick I told you this is just going to fly by?
Yes, I was like 2 hours. Okay, that
That's
I
what
can
most
do that
people say. Oh
speed.
my gosh, like that's too long. I
I
don't
love
think I
it
can
though.
do
It
it.
gives you time to really connect and then I want to have you on my show, Just Us
I
Spirit
would love
podcast.
to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I was thinking about this. Eventually, hopefully, I know how busy Carmen is and you are,
Mhm.
but maybe we'll be able to get the two of you on together, because you
That'd
two
be
make a
fun.
dynamic team. You really
Yeah,
do.
that would
So,
be
where do people find you? Your course, your books,
Sherianna Boyle,
everything.
right there. You got my name right there. It's sheriannaboyle.com. That's
Okay.
it. Yeah,
Super easy,
my
guys. But you have
sheriannaboyle.com.
YouTube, you have Instagram. I know you're on LinkedIn. I found you there. You're
Oh,
on
okay.
Facebook. And then what's the
Facebook,
name of your
Twitter.
podcast? So people
Just As
know.
Spirit. Just As Spirit is my podcast, which is on any all app channels. So whatever you listen
Okay.
to
Does
is
it come out weekly,
it comes
monthly?
out weekly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just As Spirit
Okay.
every week. Yeah.
What day?
Comes out well. So I'm on the radio as well. So Mondays it goes out live, and
Okay.
then it's on demand on the radio. So I'm on Dream Vision 7
Okay.
Radio Network, and then I also stream through podcast channels. Um, so wherever you want, you can go directly to the radio station, Dream Vision 7. If you go through the podcast channels, I just produced my 100th show because I
Oh,
wasn't always with the radio. So
okay.
there's more shows there, but if you don't want to have to sort through it all, you can go to the radio. Thank you, Zach.
Zach says, great show today.
Have a
Thank you,
good night, Zach.
Sherianna.
You did great. You did great. I'm sure you're a great boss too.
I'm sure he is
I'm sure you're
too.
a little hard on yourself.
I think he is too.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
really meant that message from spirit that was coming
yeah,
through so
yeah,
so much for you, sweetie. And
yeah.
so I'll read the rest just so people listening on the replay or they're listening right now. So comment is great show today. Thank you, Sherianna, for joining us and providing guidance. Have a good night, everybody. Lastly, people could buy your books as well from your
And
website
yeah,
too.
yeah. Energy in Action is Amazon, Barnes and Noble, my website. Everything, all the books are, you'll see them there, or Amazon, wherever you want to get the book.
I
So,
love it. Okay, so you guys, you will see me here on Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the thing at the foot of the bed with my amazing, great friend, David Hansel. We have sometime during that 2 hour period, we have the unpredictable, predictable reading. So whenever spirit strikes,
mhm.
we pick somebody from whoever's live, and if you want a question or whatever it may be, we share with you what we receive from spirit. So next week I will be back on. Now, I don't know if I have anything planned yet because it is a Canadian long weekend on the Monday, but I do have to do some pre-interviews with people from over the pond, across the pond. So it'll either be little old me or I will have an amazing pre-recorded show that you've never seen before. So we'll be back with the Angel Rock, like I said, next Monday. If you ever want to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me on facebook.com/the Angel Rock. That's to book a reading. I do healing sessions. I do teaching, mentoring. You got a guest idea, show idea. Also 2 groups on Facebook, Paranormal University for all things paranormal, and the Angel Rocker Tribe for many of the things we talked about tonight. So there was something else I wanted to tell you quickly, and I was thinking of it as I was talking. Well, I guess it's not that important, but we'll come up probably after
Try to
we.
get it all. You try to get it all in, right?
Yes, after we get off here. So like I said, you can get a hold of me on there. Darn it, and I knew it was important. Oh, I know what it was.
Oh,
Yes, it is very important. Please stay tuned for the show right after this. They're good friends of mine, and they've been on the network for a while now. It's Julia and Philip Siracusa with the Horsefly Chronicles. Love you guys all so much. Have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. Sending you all so much love and light. And Sherry, thank you again so much. Can't wait to have you back on.
thanks, everybody.
Have a
Bye.
good one, guys. We'll see you on Thursday.